So next time we're going to be checking out KamSandwich's The Worst Card Game Ideas, also known as Magic the Gathering, if they were doing unglued sets constantly, as opposed to the current ones, which are a hot dog or a pigeon. I'm going to have thoughts about this video, aren't I? Oh yeah. I mean, it can't be any worse than the worst tabletop games where we found out about Fatal and the other games that made me think Fatal was the good one. You know, let's just not think about that and never forget and ever forget, because I can't as much as I want to. Yeah. There are things in my head I will never unsee. Also, I just realized I have not subscribed to him. Holy shit. Well, that's embarrassing. Let's fix that.
How's it going, dudes? The boundless creativity of the human mind continues to amaze and astound.
Vanilla
After
Ice?
all, I doubt that any lower life form could even dream of putting together something as life-changing as O.J. Simpson murder trial Monopoly.
How old is this video? It's only a month old. So there's a chance this is just a very convincing AI of him holding up a thing that should not exist. Also, it's called Squeeze the Juice because his nickname was The Juice. Also known as the part about Police Squad and then the Naked Gun, where every time O.J. Simpson gets into a horrible life-destroying accident, my wife started laughing because she likes seeing that. Also, great reason to get her to watch Police Gun. Wow, Police Squad or Naked Gun, including the new one. Okay, that's the level we're going to.
Idea, there must exist an equal and opposite to oppose it. A game that really makes you wonder how anyone could have thought, oh yeah, this bad boy? The new Mousetrap. Now, we did take a look at...
I mean, if it was more recent events, probably would be okay.
Some bad board game ideas before, but since then I have come across a group of card games that are so much worse on just a conceptual level, and be honest, those are way funnier.
Raquel, I know you're telling me it's very real, but I'm going to choose to believe it's just a very good AI usage to deepfake him on his own channel in his own video that he didn't edit out, and just believe that, because there's lines, man.
Here to look at. Because we can either get into the weeds on whether the ungame really deserves all of the hate that it receives due to its concept, or we can look at the illegitimate child card game and ask...
So it's literally a game that can be summed up as, am I your bastard? Aqua Teen Hunger Force was right. And apparently someone else made the joke as well.
Excuse me? Who's your daddy? The game where you try to determine which of your friends got you pregnant.
You know, this unironically probably inspired most of Maury. For anyone who doesn't have to know what that is, daytime TV, let's call it programming, where the majority of it is, you are not the father, followed by, you are the father. And it's always the reaction that they don't want that they get. Oh boy.
How? Who's Your Daddy is the 2001 card game that sees each player take up...
Only 2001? That actually might predate Maury. Or post-dated. I actually don't know when Maury started. And it's not something I won't ever find out.
The role of a man and a woman. As a woman, you are trying to have
as
many kids as possible so you can pin the paternity of the child on one of the other players and sue them for child support. Meanwhile, as a man, you are trying to bob and weave these accusations to avoid having to pay, especially if the child is yours. The last player with any money remaining wins. Who's Your Daddy takes on a similar theming to a Maury-style show.
I'm not the only one seeing it. Okay, good to know. Ooh, forgot to close that. Meant to do that earlier. Oops. And I was going to pull this up. And Croc, you mentioned talking about bad ideas and mousetraps. Quick reminder that revolver mousetraps are a real thing. Only downside are accidents, casualties, and mess. Casualties? Revolver? Wait. Like the gun. Like the actual... Someone... I'm sorry. Someone built a mousetrap that was a gun. You know what? They had an entire science set for kids with real uranium in it. So why not? Why not? Why not?
This one being called Sammy on the back of the box, and the Gary Stringer Show in the rules
Jerry
themselves.
Springer. Also, I'm just going to point out, because this is funny and I never stop laughing at, Jerry Springer was going to be, or was in a very good position to become the mayor, I think, of Chicago. And he didn't run, even though he was a fan favorite because of previous political experience, because he was contractually obligated to continue doing the Jerry Springer Show. And in the first season of that show, it was a nerdy shop to talk to people. In fact, I think Family Guy did an entire joke about where Brian was doing a lot of the really highbrow stuff and then went into joke bullshit. And that is actually a joke of exactly what happened IRL with Jerry Springer, where he was a serious, thoughtful, and intellectual person who decided to become Jerry Springer because money. Yeah, there is another world out there where he was just a very down-to-earth, admittedly for Chicago, normal politician. These are things that are real. It's like finding out Ronald Reagan used to make movies and that they still consider themselves movies because, oh, wow. It's like watching a Leslie Nielsen movie that's not supposed to be funny.
As such, the game is encouraging you to take up a similar mindset to the colorful individuals you would expect to see on that type of program. At the start of the game, you are tasked with determining your standard bodily traits alongside any special features you may have.
Tail? Third nipple, President of the United States. Okay. Yeah, that would do it. Tail, web feet, extra digits, extra nipple, extra president. It happens to everyone.
Which will be used throughout in order to connect you to the various children.
Dice roll, President of the U.S. There's multiple ways to become president
that you may or may not have fathered. If you want to get real crazy with it, add the fatal character creator to the mix to get that little bit of extra depth. When it is not your turn, you will be playing as a dude. During this time, you will be hit with wild accusations of how you're this.
Also, I'm being pointed out, Raquel mentioned, gotta love how President of the United States is a genetic trait. You'd be surprised how often that technically accurately describes how that is coming up. There's very few families.
Kid's dad,
but they are there.
That kid's dad, and it's up for you to defend yourself by accusing everybody else of them being the father. Or if
you know what, I know exactly why they put president in there, because when this is designed, the phrase "I did not have sex with that," or sorry, sexual relations with that woman. Yes, that's as close to an Arkansas accent as I'm ever going to get, and it's never going to get better. Is probably something that would be said a lot. There are people watching this right now who will not understand what I just said. Yeah, this entire video is just me feeling old.
If you look at it and think, yeah, that one might be mine, then you can just own up to it right then and there.
No
Saves
exemption?
everyone
Nice.
else a whole lot of trouble and might just save you a bit of cash. If it is your turn, then you take up the role of a woman. And before you do anything else, you must be sure to ask for any child support payments you are owed from dads you've already had kids with. If you don't specifically ask for the payment, they don't have to give you anything.
Oh my God, what just... I'm just gonna roll this up so I don't think about this more. Croc, you mentioned also, with less disturbing dumb ideas, impulsoria locomotive using horses on treadmills to move wheels, less effective than horses to directly pull stuff. on the one hand. Yeah, on the other hand, I can see that actually being useful if you're in an area where the location you're walking on would break the horse's legs. I don't think it would work anywhere else, but it's a very dumb idea, and I think it's funny as hell. Literally horse-powered.
So you better be sharp as a rock when it comes to collecting your money, or else you'll be missing out on those acrylics. After you've collected your dough, you can proceed with your turn. If you are not currently pregnant, then you can choose to get pregnant. Of course, you can't just choose the father of your child. That's not how this works. If you already are pregnant, then you can choose to either give birth and roll to see what that child's traits are, or put that whole ordeal off until later.
Just like everyone does it.
If you took neither of those actions and you have a spare fatherless child lying around, then you can choose one of your friends of being their dad. You don't have to have any proof of this, of course. You can just draw a name out of a hat for all I care. Smithery! If they deny their involvement in the conception, then they just need to accuse someone else. And if someone admits fault, then you need to come to an agreement with them on what their child support payments will be. The two of you will, in a very civilized manner, come up with an agreed upon charge for the child and can choose between paying all of the money up front or spreading it out over multiple turns in
How did this ever see the market? For there to be a copy, for you to get the scans of these pictures. I bit my tongue. Ow. And then just, why? Like, isn't the ultimate denial here is, nope, not mine, don't care. And then you just win because you never do it? Like, just go out to get milk. Actually, that's probably how you win the game. You stop playing.
Installments. Thank you for calling customer support. How may I help you? Yeah, I was wondering if I could finance my child support. This, of course, is not a legally binding agreement, so there is nothing stopping a guy from refusing to pay an agreed upon amount or a mother from shaking down an extra turn out of that deal. But Cam, if I'm trying to run the deadbeat dad meta, why would I ever admit that I'm the father?
Yeah, well, I did ask that, yes.
Depending on how bold the mom is, you could be saving yourself a lot of money. See, if nobody admits fault, then the mom can go to the courts and pay to have a paternity test done. And comparing the child's unique characteristics to every player who was accused, they will add +1 for every match and +2 for every specialty trait. And then
extra traits, extra digits, extra limbs, extra president, third nipple, web tail, or web digits, vestigial tail. Why does it always come back to the president?
Each accused player will roll a die and add their modifier. Whoever has the highest roll will be the court-appointed father, who will then be ordered by the court to pay a certain amount depending on how close the match is, which will usually end up being way more than if you just took the deal. There is another modifier that gets added when you accidentally have a child with one of your relatives, which, you know, I think we're just gonna skip that one. If all of those pesky children ring your...
There's an explicit incest aspect. Why does that? I'm going to say something I wasn't expecting to say. Cards Against Humanity seems tamer because you might say more horrible shit, but everything about this seems... This is the first game. Oh, God, this is only the first game he's looking at. Oh, no. Shit.
Your wallet dry and you have no money left, you flee the country to escape the payments and are eliminated. Last player
seems like a smart choice.
There are also a few optional rules that you can partake in if you want to shake things up, such as the ability to neuter yourself, the chance to sell your newborn baby to another player through surrogate services, and having the opportunity to send yourself to prison in order to unlock that as an excuse.
Can't be my kid because I was doing a hard time. What'd you do? Jaywalking. Oh my God. Why is this? The game is stupid, but I could see someone alternating it to make it better with a new paint job and changing every single word in it. But the fact that someone sat here and went, yeah, this seems like a good choice, means that I'm going to take a wild guess and say they were paying a lot of child support. They needed immediate cash and they were very angry while also being very, very drunk. but not so drunk as to not have access to a word process. Bit my tongue on that one. Word processor. Oh, God.
Your Honor, 9 months ago I was in solitary confinement on wire fraud charges. You are literally the first human I've seen.
Dude, if you were on wire fraud charges, you would be in a club fed, and no one would actually touch you because you probably have guys on the outside who just so happen to have the extra money that they didn't find. Now, if you're in solitary, you probably did something like aggressive jaywalking in an upscale neighborhood, and then you upset the person who had the most money.
In 2 years. My favorite part of the game is probably the preparing for play section, which contains 5 separate instances of the phrase. Explain to everyone that the game they are about to play is extremely tasteless and makes light of a fairly serious subject. Request that anyone harboring thoughts of suing the manufacturer, or worse still, the designer of the game, leave immediately.
I hate how the fact that they acknowledge it is tasteless and the subject is serious is in there, because this is horrible, but they're aware of it. Somehow, that makes it better. Because the alternative is they don't realize it's horrible, and that is worse. So much worse.
If anyone feels like doing that anyway, though, I've got the actual credits from the back of the book right here.
Oh god, they actually put their names on?
The original concept is by Anonymous. The mistakes and typos are from...
Absolutely no one would take the blame for this one. Some guy who no longer works
Some guy who no longer works here, and the extremely poor taste is provided by Hugh Betcha. You'd better count your day.
Let me guess. His attorneys are Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Yeah, those guys get everywhere.
Hugh, the fullest extent of the law and this hammer are coming. But while the idea is wonky, you can at least see what they were trying to cash in on when they made it. Something much weirder is when you release a game centered around an action that doesn't seem like it would attract a whole lot of fans.
What?
I've been wanting to talk about this one since the second tournament.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rat Splatter. That's right, baby, Rat Splatter. What do you...
Oh, I have so many questions, and I don't think I'm going to get lucky enough to miss the answers.
You do here? Why, you splat rats, of course.
They took the joke of Weasel Stomping Day and they made a game of it, didn't they? Oh my...
Rat Splatter is the 2001 card game that sees...
Why is it always 2001? Never mind. That makes sense.
You take up the role of the titular Rat Splatter. What you do is combine your male and female rats of the same personality type so that they breed and produce a rat child. The more rat combinations you can put together, the bigger the nest becomes. And when it's big enough for your liking, you can drop an entire anvil onto the new rat families to crush them to death, earning points for every rat splatted via this method.
This is somehow much worse than I ever thought. It's literally a family raising game of rat eugenics that you then crush. You know, the last game is like, that's so horrible, it's almost funny, and they recognize it. This one is, I will judge you for making the recommendation to play it. This is like someone playing Fatal. If they ask, run. Just run.
Whoever splats the most rats wins. You know it's bad when you've got the guy perpetually on the run from a rat demon, feeling bad for the rats. Who is out there dropping whole entire anvils on rats, as a profession no less? Quote, squishing rats with anvils is truly a rewarding job, especially when you're getting paid for each rat, and especially when you first take the time to breed them in big nests and squish them all at once.
Animated told by Snow Fox Diver. This was made for kids. Was it kids in the Manson family by any chance? Because that would fit.
That's the biggest part for me. These aren't the rats out there spreading the plague or stealing your pizza or anything.
My God.
These are creatures that have been brought into this world by your actions so you can smash them to death for money. You are the bad guy. But okay, shaky theme aside, if you're gonna be out here splatting rats, you're at least going to be doing so within a deep and thought-provoking game that's well worth the money, right?
How much was it?
No. Retailing for $9.95 plus tax, Rat Splatter includes 40 rat cards, 15 anvil cards, and gameplay that can easily be replicated with just a standard deck. In fact, it's so easily replicated, I'm just gonna teach you how to play it right now.
Skip to 10:05 to keep the rat rules a mystery. You know what? I am going to skip right now because honestly, as a card game, it's probably fun. The rat aspect just makes it creepier. Actually, as a card game, it might actually be worth learning. Might have to do that later. 10:05? Let's just go to 10:05 and never learn.
Your hand are also -1. Whoever
Unironically, I'll come back to this later, because the card game version, without all the creepy rat stuff, no.
has the most points wins. I take the time to teach you the game because, honestly, it is a serviceable time waster. That would be all that it functions as, though.
Oh God, is there more? Oh God, of course there's more. Also just going to pull this up. There's a historical precedent for breeding animals to exterminate. Like when India had snake problems, the government started paying for dead snakes. I've actually heard of that one. Yeah, because people can make more getting rid of snakes, so it was actually more profitable to raise snakes. Yeah. I wonder at what point did they actually domesticate a few of them. This is the type of shit that future serial killers would play when they were kids. Yeah. And honestly, if they don't have a watch list of everyone who ever bought it, I would be very, very disappointed because it would be the most useful thing ever.
The game itself is terrible. This is one of the most brain-dead games I've ever played. At no point is a single thought required from the players on this one. You are straight running this sucker on autopilot.
Oh, so it's basically match a pair, get enough pairs, cash in the pairs. Yeah, not really much going on.
The gameplay on this one boils down to, can you make a rat family and smash it? No. Play one rat and hope you can next turn. That's it. That is the entire game. Winner is determined by who draws the most rat family combos or gets lucky with what the guy before them plays. There is no brain power needed. That's why this one works as a time waster, as you can easily hold a conversation while playing.
So it's basically like playing solitaire yourself. There's only one move, and you can only just restart if you fake it up. I don't mean fix it up. I don't mean break it up. I mean fix it up. Or fake it up.
But only go with this option if you don't really have a lot of time to waste. This game is short. What does $10 get you? An 8-minute game max. We got an entire game in before the oven even preheated. So
Damn.
If you are in a group and you need to waste between 5 to 10 minutes and you don't want to think during that time period, but you want something slightly entertaining to be happening,
This is probably
then
it.
don't buy Rat Splatter. Just play it with a deck of cards. Hey, the game does have one thing on its side though. Dang, it's got some staying power. Rat Splatter has been in the back of my mind since the first day I uncovered it.
Let's be honest, we know exactly why. The art is surprisingly good. And horrible. But there's a type. They know there's a type.
One does not easily forget Rat Splatter. If you do end up trying this one, I recommend paying attention to how quickly people get desensitized to the theme too. When you first tell them about it, they'll be like, I smash a rat with an anvil? And then by game 2, you'll see people going like, alright, so that's dad, mom, kiddo, boom! Truly a game that's fun for the whole family.
Once.
Except, you know,
The family.
the rat one. But if you don't want your kids taking up harmful hobbies that could be a bad influence,
Like playing Magic the Gathering. This game is safer. It only costs $10. As opposed to Magic, where take a closer, cheaper hobby, like any recreational other experience that I'm not going to talk about on YouTube.
on them, then you
That
might
used to be a
want
joke.
to avoid all of the anvil dropping and instead gift them a game that encourages other popular children's
Oh, no.
activities from the past.
Oh no.
Like smoking. Camel the game. Let's take a look at how the game works real quick so that the lawyers can have some more time to put together why this is not marketing cigarettes to children.
You know what? I'm not surprised. This doesn't surprise me. In fact, it doesn't surprise me so much that the lack of surprise is in itself kind of surprising. I should be more shocked, but I'm not. And that kind of hurts. Also, Snow, you mentioned you like playing Morkborg. It's so horrible that you can't help but get used to it incredibly quickly. Honestly, I've heard of Morkborg. It's one of those games I've wanted to check out because I just like random miniature stuff. For example, yep, Trench Crusade. I like this kind of shit. I don't mind going dark. But just this really, there's a smoking game. Oh my God. Also, Croc, I'm just going to pull up your comment. I blame these on Thomas Midgley Jr. If you know who that is, you know who it is. If not, let's just say he's among the things he did led poison the entire world. I probably should look this guy up now. Morkborg is really dark. Also, it's a TTRPG, not a war game. Oh. That's actually kind of fascinating. I thought it might be like Turnip then, but no, apparently not. I have to check that out.
Hey, thanks, appreciate it. Camel the Game is the 1992 card game made by the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company to either A, cement them as a new player in the tabletop gaming market, or B, sell Camel cigarettes.
I'm just going to take a wild thing here. Between these two companies, which one of them do you think hired the Pinkertons to break into someone's house and steal stuff? The answer is, I don't know if Camel did it, but I know Hasbro did. Yeah, they accidentally shipped out a box of magic cards. They sent the Pinkertons to the guy's house. They broke in, terrorized them with firearms, and took it back. Their mistake, I should add, wasn't stolen. They sent it out. So yeah. One kills people, the other just gets really close. I'm not sure which is which.
A new player in the tabletop gaming market, or B, sell Camel cigarettes. At this point, it could go either way. This is a bidding game where you are trying to earn the letters C-A-M-E-L to win, doing so by earning those letters during the round. On each round, you start with 6 cards and try to make a bid for how many of one specific letter.
I know this came out in 92, but this is so aggressively 80s. Like, dear God, man. The least 80s things is probably the Dorito pattern on here.
Letter you can get from the cards in your hand, the amount of that letter in.
Also, according to Bill's cipher, I'm just going to pull this up in chat so people see what I'm talking about. Hasbro once tried to enslave the Irish. They probably failed because England didn't like people getting on their territory.
Other players' hands and rolling twice on the Camel dice. For instance, if you have 2 M's and 1 Camel Wild, you can probably bid that you'll get 7 M's because all you'd need to get are 2 M's from the other player's hands and rolling 2 M's on 2 rolls of the dice.
I actually like games like this. Beyond the Camel branding, this is a style of game that I've played quite a lot and I enjoy it. I can never remember the Wizard. That's the game. If anyone's ever played it, it's very much similar to this, except it's numbers of the entire deck. And you have a lot of options. If anything, this seems like a very simplified version of the game Wizard. Huh.
If you get dealt 1 of each card at the start or roll 1 of each symbol on the dice at once, you automatically win the round. And the first player to collect all of the smooth-tasting Camel letters
gets lung cancer. A gift for everyone. What does it mean? Oh, you get to spend a lot of time with your family. And then they don't. Ever again.
Wins. This one is pretty similar to other bidding or press your luck games and looks to be alright in terms of how the game functions, with the only major negative being the whole being used as a marketing stunt by a major tobacco corporation thing. But Cam, an okay game made for the fans of the Camel brand, doesn't sound any different than the many other branded board games out there, so why is this one such a bad idea? Well, it all revolves around the cool dude featured on the cards here, because with everything happening to Camel at that time, they really could not have picked a worse moment to release this game.
Oh no, they definitely could have if it was all island-based, because every one of those pictures of him looks like someone who might have gone to an island off maybe the eastern coast of America, and it would rhyme with Lepsteam's Island. Didn't kill himself. What?
Game. 1991. 1 year before the game comes out, Joe Camel here gets into some hot water when a Journal of the American Medical Association study reveals that among the 6-year-olds they brought in to test brand recognition, 91% of them were able to match Joe Camel to cigarettes, which was nearly the same percentage of 6-year-olds that were able to correctly connect Mickey Mouse to the effing Disney Channel.
I was going to make a joke about the mouse coming second, but let's be completely honest here. Yeah, it's probably the same people doing both.
91% of 6-year-olds. The cigarette ads were very successfully reaching preschoolers. Another study by JAMA that looked at ad effectiveness between...
Also, I'm pretty sure it came out that they knew it was going to kill people, and they just kept it quiet. You know, that little thing where corporations kill people. They don't like talking about it because you're still paying them, and they like to keep it that way. It's a good thing that never happened again. Boeing.
High schoolers and those above the age of 21 concluded that the Joe Camel campaign was 25 to 43% more effective at reaching high schoolers than adults. And Camel sales to teenagers during the 4-year campaign rose
addicted
from
early, you stay addicted.
$6 million to $476 million.
That's why it's effective.
A reminder that at this point, the minimum smoking age was determined by each state individually, with some of them being as low as 16 and some of them having no minimum age at all.
Texas didn't have a minimum. Or had a minimum, actually. Okay. That's a thing. Was not expecting them to do that. Also, Croc, example of unhealthy old games. Pisces z Slabali, one, probably butchering that. Sorry, I don't speak Polish, barely speak English. Glasses are set along the blade of the saber and filled with hard alcohol. Then you drink all quickly. And the joke is not cutting yourself on the saber. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, we have now reached the goal, so after this video, we'll put up a poll for the next one.
These findings got people a bit miffed, of course. A lawsuit here, an FTC complaint there, but Camel was holding steadfast that they were not marketing to children. That's just something that tobacco companies don't do. So Camel has quite a lot on their hands in 1992, and during this time, what do they decide to do? They decide to release a colorful card game that prominently features Joe Camel, who is currently in trouble for being extremely effective at marketing cigarettes to children and teens, into the board game market, which is comprised of more than half by children and teens.
Yep.
It's genius! That'll get them off our backs for sure!
Oddly enough, that number probably has changed, because anyone who remembers how to play card games is probably at least a minimum of 30 years old.
This obviously did not work at all, and later that year, Congress told everyone that if they didn't raise their minimum smoking age to 18, we are taking away your substance abuse funding. Then in 1997, the FTC forced Camel to end their Joe Camel campaign, meaning that this game was also gone for good. The sheer hubris...
You could say they were huffing fumes, even. That'd be a little too much on the cigarette.
Look at the situation you are currently in and go, you know something we haven't tried before? Directly entering a market dominated by children is baffling. I will truly never understand the mindset of a corporate executive.
Oh, I can understand the mindset. It's, I think, what was it, right around... He said it went like from 4 million to 400 million. I think that's the mindset. Yeah. I don't remember where he put it, but it was somewhere around here. Yeah, it's number go up. That's the mindset. And other people are not me. I don't care. It's very easy to understand the mindset of a corpo because you just have to look at bar graph. If bar graph go up, it good. If me die, not good. Both together, debatable.
Speaking of never understanding a specific mindset, I've never really gotten the new trend of taking real-world historical figures or military equipment and transforming them into anime women?
The trend is boobs. Although there's plenty of guys in there too now, so sure, why not?
I really couldn't tell you what's going on here. Of course, this trend was inevitably going to lead to one extreme in particular, and since we just covered smoking...
Please don't do Hitler Chan. Please, 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 no, 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 no. It's probably going to be that. Oh no. Oh no.
The monetization is already cooked, so we're all clear to get wacky, get wild.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, anime Nazi women. Barbarossa. Rush your manga military girls against Moscow to defeat the evil magician Stalin?
Why? I mean, I don't. Why?
Oh, okay, I get it now. What?
I'm with him on this one. Also, Zero, we should finish Black Souls today. All right, I'll pull that one back up. Oh, God.
Barbarossa is the 2010 Japanese card game that sees you take control of your suspiciously...
Never mind, this makes perfect sense. 2010 Japan. Also, for anyone wondering, that's because there was a decided push to ignore some of the things I didn't like for a very long time with Japanese ruling class because they didn't like it. It's like, we didn't do these horrible things and our allies. It wasn't actually that bad. There's a lot of revisionism. Yeah. It's not everyone. It's not explicitly stated, but it kind of happens. I think more recently it has heavily been curtailed, but I remember that at least in this time period, I did hear quite a bit about it happening. Now, I'm not sure how long it started or when it was happening afterwards, but I do remember hearing about it this time period. So this is probably right along the lines of nothing bad happened. Then the bombs dropped. We don't know why that happened. We're never going to ask.
Partyless German military forces, which are comprised entirely of scantily clad anime women. If you can advance through your opponent's defenses and take Moscow, you win the game. People wonder why the Germans struggled so hard in the Soviet winter, and that's probably because they were dressed like this.
That would do it.
This one overall is rated pretty highly for its game design and strategic depth. Heck, the darn thing was even nominated for an award when it came out. But you know, despite World War II being the most popular war game time period, I have yet to see one treat the Nazis as sexy? I don't know what I was expecting.
It does exist, though. I mean, this one is just like in its concept, but apparently if it actually plays well, sure. It's one of those games where it's like, okay, yeah, they know what they're doing, but also, okay. Sure, why not? This is actually less objectionable than the first one, because the first one is just like, why? This one is more waifu everything. It sells. And the one location where they probably won't realize just how bad it is.
Japan was on their team after all. But Cam, you're missing the point here. These are not Nazis. It explicitly states that this is a fictional World War II setting. All of the swastikas have been replaced by the Iron Cross, and you get up to no operations outside of this generic military.
I was kind of wondering why it looked more like World War I insignia instead. In other words, they're aware of exactly what it would be if they did anything else. Which makes me wonder, why didn't they just do World War I?
Military march to Moscow. This is just your standard, unaffiliated, Germanic military force that happens to be made up of anime women in their underwear.
I'm omitting a lot of gals? Yeah, that would do it.
And yes, I can see that, and I might have actually believed it too, if they just could have resisted the temptation to include the actual real-world generals. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing, in the best possible German I can...
They put in real people's names. Oh, did they actually make a Hitler-chan? I was joking. That wasn't supposed to be real. And now there's a part of my brain going, no, we're about to see this. This is about to be a thing. Okay, sure.
Can feasibly put together General Heinz Guderian, Personal advisor to Hitler himself on the Eastern Front, he is one of the people credited with developing the concepts for the Panzer Division and the Blitzkrieg. General Frederick Paulus, commander of the 6th Army, he is the one who surrendered to the Russians at the Battle of Stalingrad. General Erich von Manstein, here Field Marshal and convicted war criminal, Manstein was found guilty on counts of issuing scorched earth orders, allowing the deportation of civilians for slave labor, using Soviet prisoners of war to construct fortifications, the execution of commissars in relation to the Commissar Order, poor treatment and deaths of prisoners of war, and the execution of civilians. General Paul
God damn. And Genesis, you're asking if I remember Moonshine animations? Yep. Not sure why you're asking now, and I'm a little afraid to ask why, but okay.
Ludwig Ewald von Kleist, Wehrmacht Field Marshal, he was the one overseeing the circumvention of the Maginot Line and the leading commander of
Belgium.
the real Operation Barbarossa. He is also a convicted war criminal. General Gerd von Rundstedt.
How much does he have to blur, considering what he's been okay with showing so far? Also, I just realized we've had things in English and Japanese. This is printed enough to have multiple language adaptations.
A here Field Marshal in his late 60s, he was the head of the Court of Honor, where those thought to be plotting to kill Hitler would be tried with no defense and then sent to be executed. Not a convicted war criminal, because he was deemed to be medically unfit to stand trial.
Too old.
And General...
That changed later.
Hermann Hoth, commander of armored panzer divisions on the Eastern Front, he was convicted both on war crimes due to the Commissar Order and crimes against humanity. Wow, quite the start.
I'm just going to throw out there the crimes against humanity thing, genocide, those were made for the trials against Nazis. Genocide was a word invented for it. Blair, I forgot about Miraboo Studios. No, I actually like their stuff, but the reaction didn't do well. So I'm just going to watch it on my own time because I still want to see it.
Studded lineup we've got here. But hold on a second.
Oh, no, no.
No. Pray tell, who could this be? What, you don't recognize her? It's Adolf Hitler. Anime girl, Adolf Hitler.
I called it. I hate this. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. Why does... I don't even... I'm just hoping they at least keep it thematic. And if you play this card, it destroys itself. Like the bitch he was.
Standing there with a big old smile on her face as she sweeps the Soviets away. Look at her go. This is not a misinterpretation or a headcanon or anything of the sort. The official...
They left the freaking red armband with... It's so close to being a... You know, but it's not a...
English translation for...
I'm gonna be honest, Blue Archive low-key did this. What the fuck was happening in Blue Archive? You know, no, never mind. I don't think I want to know. Let's just not do it. Croc, I missed one of your donations. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, I actually missed quite a few of them. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly double check that. So the one you mentioned was, there's a mustache man as a girl dating sim on Steam. You have suffered this knowledge. Oh, God, why? Followed by Iron Force going, can we have Fallout's pre-war America was a nightmare by all fall? I might have actually watched that one on my own time, actually. That sounds like something very similar to what I've already seen. If I remember right, though, I did enjoy it, but I could be mistaken.
For this card is Adolf's interest, and for the character card itself, she is referred to as Lady Adolf. I'd show more of the card artwork, but the image is framed in the way that the picture is an upskirt shot, you know, of Adolf Hitler. But the whack crap...
On the one hand... On the other hand, let's just not talk about hands with this game. They're probably going to need to be washed. And also, not for the reason you're thinking. There's a lot of blood on them.
Doesn't end there. Oh no. You see, I don't
It gets
speak
worse.
Japanese, but allegedly the name of this card directly is Adolf Tan. That tan suffix on the end is very interesting, as that is used to mimic a small child mispronouncing Chan. So this card is essentially an exaggerated baby talk Hitler card. They came out here and hit us with the "who's a good Hitler?" Not you. Definitely not you.
I'm going to say something that might be awesome or terrible, and probably both. This is like the perfect game to send to the Nazis, you know. Because on the one hand, it's like, oh, that's awesome. Then there's that little bit of, I'm not okay with this. It's like just insulting enough where I don't like it, but it's insulting to the people I'm kind of okay being insulting about, because fuck Nazis. It's like, it's just, it's that weird mix of I can't tell if it's good or bad, and I don't really know, but I think it would piss off the right people, and I can kind of deal with the rest.
As if we couldn't go even further beyond, this game was, of course, wildly successful.
Yeah, it's
enough
anime girls.
to warrant them later releasing not just an expansion, but an entire sequel. Guess where we are now, boys?
Africa?
That's right, El Alamein. Welcome to North Africa.
I think Rommel was in this one. At least that one is probably the German general with the least amount of war crimes to him, and not sure how many he had, but I know the list was competitive.
The Campaign for North Africa, The Anime Women, 2010 to 2017.
And still somehow less objectionable.
Oh my gosh, is that Rommel? Is that Irvin Rommel? What's great about El Alamein...
Wait, that was actually accurate? The visor on the head? Huh. Not what I was expecting to be real there.
Is that it also led to the creation of two other titles.
What?
The alternate stock image versions of both El Alamein and Barbarossa, where instead of a bunch of saucy anime women, they use actual historical photographs from the time period for the card artwork. This is a really cool idea for how to shake up the game, because despite the gameplay, rules, and effects all being exactly the same, these are now two entirely different games.
And yet it probably has the same person gooning to both of them. I know what I said. And Snowfox ever mentioned it's correct sand in the eyes? Yeah, I guess that would be a thing, because you're literally in a desert. Any breeze would probably have that.
On one hand, you have a tense military struggle where High Command is trying to determine the wartime strategy they need to ensure victory. And on the other hand, you've got Lil Hitler with the flavor text saying, "Anything, just say what you want, la 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 la." Who...
Same card. Different game.
approved this project, and why did the Kickstarter for the sequel raise $161,000? What am I supposed to do with this information? I guess this is a good market indicator that I can start production on the Chairman Mao anime card game. I did not just give them that idea.
I'm kind of afraid to look up if it exists, because at some point that might be a real thing, and I would be surprised if it's not already. Also, Croc, you mentioned talk about Rommel. Shout out goes to General Hobart, British general who revolutionized armor warfare so much Rommel always had his papers on it ready. Oh, I have no idea who that is. Mostly because I don't actually follow World War II history that much. The most I learned about World War I is literally from Trench Crusade. And if you know anything about Trench Crusade, you realize how little that should help.
Oh no. Well, those were 4 roller coasters of some titles there, but I'm glad that we finished this one up so that I can get a head start on developing. Oh, hey, corporate called. They said you need to add a 5th game. What? I don't have a 5th game. Where do I... Who's corporate? Corporate. They called and said 4 games is weak sauce, wah baby numbers. You need to add a 5th. Well,
yeah, I hate when that happens. It does. You just gotta deal with it.
I don't have one. Where do I get a 5th game? I don't... Look, just pick one of those two. I don't care.
Little Troubles?
No, wait, please.
Mean Bean Machine?
Confound it. Little Troubles! It's Little Troubles, everybody! Yeah! I'm gonna die. I'm going to die. This one's actually going to kill me. For those of you not in the know, prior to the start of the second worst board game of all time tournament, I was taking competitor requests to make sure that I wasn't missing out on any lesser known.
How many board games are there that are that horrible? Actually, considering one of them is probably Monopoly, the list goes a long way. Also, Saddlebag, Oversimplified has made some good vids about war histories. Really? Oh, I have to check that out.
Own talent. There were many recommendations for potential competitors, including games like Right or Racist, The 39 Clues, and strangely enough, both chess and checkers. But
yeah, because they're both games designed by people who hate you. Checkers, because as soon as you realize there's nothing going on and you're going to lose, you probably already lost. And chess, because a lot can happen, you're always going to be wrong.
Among all of the submissions, there was one that really stood out to me. It was the only one of its kind. It received no likes, no responses, and no attention, but I did see it.
Oh.
And since all recommendations had to be reviewed, I began my search for Little Troubles. I then immediately...
Oh no. Oh no.
I began my search for Little Troubles.
Yeah, I recognize that art style. You can always tell if someone is not for less than 18. Yeah. It is exactly what I think it is, isn't it?
I then immediately barred it from tournament contention because I absolutely did not want to talk about it. But due to the nature of what I do here, I knew full well that I would still end up having to cover it. I just wanted to put that off for as long as possible. Well, the crop is ripe, and unfortunately it is now time to reap what I've sown. So to start us off, what is Little Troubles? Little Troubles is the world's very first age regression baby fur trading card game, where you are attempting to regress the age of your opponent's furry characters in order to send them to time out. The first player to accumulate 100 cookies or win 10 fights wins. Now, I just threw a lot of terminology at you right there, so allow me to catch you up to speed.
Okay, we are doing this. We are actually doing this. I'm just going to take a nice distraction. Thank you very much. David, you mentioned afternoon. Have you seen Psyche's video on Mormons or Reggie's new Conquest Elysium 5 video? Not Reggie's, but Psyche I might check out because I think I've seen their stuff before. Also, 1 second. Sneezing. Don't recommend it. Horrible thing. Whoever invented it, terrible person.
So, age regression, also referred to as paraphilic infantilism, is...
That's a tag that should only ever be applied when the lower end ends at 20. Anything else, I'm like, ugh. And granted, at that point, you're looking more at a Fountain of Youth scenario, which is actually a very historically relevant tag, because not just for anything R34 or hentai related, it's more just an actual plot device that can actually drive a lot of gameplay forward. Or you run into an entire Portrait of Dorian Gray situation, in which case, more fucked up shit, but for different reasons.
It's a form of age play where...
I paused at the wrong moment. Let's just ignore that. Also, Croc, you mentioned why nobody knows about General Hobart. Everywhere he and his inventions were, things were going so smoothly, it's boring to make movies about. Damn.
To as paraphilic infantilism is a form of age play where someone roleplays as themselves but regressed to an infant-like state. So it's you pretending to be a baby and working that whole shebang. The diapers, the pacifier, the baby bottles, the whole 3.5 yards. Now mix that...
I don't even know what the 3.5 yards thing means. I just don't want to ask. I'm not going to ask. We're not going to ask. Also, so, more Veilfisk? The one about Chat GPT game. Oh, Did he play a game against ChatGPT? I might have to check that one out. I'll put that on the list. Oh, that's great. How much for you enjoy Psyche's vid? Hope you enjoy it. Honestly, I'll put it in the list because we have to do one after this. And by the way, TF2 got a shadow a shadow update? Time for getting the mat reduced. I need to update the game, don't I? That could be a problem because updating while streaming does not usually work out well. Shit.
With baby fur, which according to WikiFur is a member of the furry fandom who enjoys role-playing as a young furry character, a cub, which includes sub-roles like kid furs, diaper furs, and sissy furs. While they are role-playing as this, or cubbing out, quote, some baby fur.
At least it's not the White Sox. That joke can be taken in multiple ways, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that one because there's no way to say any of the pun and innuendos that would go with that without really just making me feel bad.
Will become so involved and yearn for such an authentic childish mentality that they will use speech impediments and baby talk to communicate.
It's like someone took Detective Conan and took exactly the wrong inspiration from it.
Depending on the situation, a baby fur could even develop a habit of whining or crying to get what she wants from a caregiver or another role player. They made that into a trading card game. What the heck is Little Troubles? You and your friends have found a genie, and that genie has offered you one wish. The only catch? The oldest person in the room gets to make the wish. That's not fair. Not fair at all. The genie, in all of his infinite wisdom and kindness, has granted several items around the room regressive powers. To make things fair, of course. Send your friends back to diapers while keeping your potty training intact to earn that wish. Now, if I've decided to show any of the cards yet, you'll notice that the artwork is not very sexualized, which is great to see considering the whole.
I'm very much hoping the next phrase out of his mouth isn't, because these are the ones I won't show you. And then he just puts censored images up. Please do not. Just don't. It's already bad enough. It's already dead.
Baby situation we've got going on here. But rest assured, we are in fact dealing with a fetish game here, because despite there being no sexual content in the game, the website and communities are all 18 plus, which awesome. But enough about the whole everything going on here. Let's take a look at the game.
How many parents bought this for their kids without realizing it's not for kids? Oh no. Oh, they probably did a lot. It's like people who were on, what was it? It was an old platform, not Honey, but something equally terrible, that did anime online, and they kept putting Redo of a Healer in the for kids section. Not Netflix. It was one of their competitors. Can't remember it.
What's it got on offer? Well, you start the game with 30 cookies, which you can spend to play cards based on their cost. These including stuff like characters, toys, and the equivalent of spells, field spells, quick play spells, and equip spells. I'm glad that I can so
It's basically Magic, isn't it? Or Yu-Gi-Oh!
Easily relate mechanics between one of my favorite games of all
Yu-Gi-Oh?
time and the furry age regression TCG. That is just icing. The character cards are the main stars of the show in this one, each coming with an adult version of the character on one side and a regressed child version of the character on the other. Forgive me if I'm reluctant to show many of the regressed versions of the characters going forward, but I'm scared that someone is going to think they're hot. Each character comes with an attack value, their confidence, and a defense value, their maturity.
That was a bottle. That was only a bottle. There was nothing else there. And Zach, you hate to say it, but the art is kind of good. So the thing is, the artist, yeah, it's kind of why artists in that community are paid well, because a lot of them are very good at looking at the paycheck and going, yeah, that's my price. And honestly, considering how often the price for any other type of art is, you're not doing it for free? Yeah.
As well as their effect and their other values, which we'll get into later. On your turn, you can conduct battle between one of your characters and one of your opponents. Your confidence versus their defense. Cards can be played to modify these values in various ways, and whichever one is higher wins. The winner of the bout claims the amount of cookies shown on the bottom here, and the loser will be regressed into their toddler form. Or if they were already a toddler, are sent to timeout, which is the discard pile. Something that separates Little Troubles from other TCGs, more, is how important it is to have characters on the field due to these last two card values. As each resource phase, you will draw the amount of cards and gain the amount of cookies equal to the total amount of these values.
Oddly enough, I've seen that mechanic in other games. I cannot remember the game. I actually got heavily invested into it. Not nearly as invested as Magic, but I've seen where the character you're playing actually matters for drawing. And I remember actually it was a very fun mechanic to use. What was it called? I cannot remember. It's going to bug me now.
From your characters.
Fun mechanic, though.
That's a pretty cool idea.
It is.
While having more characters does mean gaining more material.
Oh, so you can actually play more than one character. I'm actually liking this as a concept without any of the actual lore attached to it. I hate how this is actually well thought out. Why do they have to make this well thought out and kind of interesting? Stop making this actually a good idea. Oh. Actually, I might even have the card I'm talking about right here. Duel Master? No, not that one. I have a lot of Magic cards on. Oh, yep, Flesh and Blood. Yeah, I have a bunch of old cards for that. That's the one. I haven't played the game in a long time because I knew one guy who did it and he moved. So I just basically collected for the sake of collecting. That's kind of boring.
Though, it means that you are going to need to spend more materials to protect all of them. So the entire time, you're going to need to weigh how to maximize your gains without spreading yourself too thin. Wait, that's a really cool idea.
It is.
No. Let's focus on something else, like the sets that are on offer. This is a trading card game after all, so where can I get my packs? Well, considering most of the TCGs I've covered have been
Super Deck, the hero trading card game. This probably got sued.
Miserable failures, I'm expecting maybe one set,
Amazon
booster pack if I'm lucky. Oh wait, my mistake. This one is actually incredibly successful.
What?
On offer from the Little Troubles website, you can purchase the base set, the set 1+1, which features booster packs, booster boxes, and a complete set option. Roll for Regression, their third set, which is comprised of
and of course, they're making it an entire shout out to the initial image of Advanced D&D. Here, I'm just going to pull up an image of this. I hate what I'm about to doing, but it's actually an interesting shout out. Here, this is the D&D Red Book cover. Yeah. That is not what I was looking for. Let's try that again. Yep. Here we are. This is what they're making fun of. And it's not even the worst one. Like here, I'll pull up some other ones. There's this one as well. Like you can see what they're going for here. They know their audience and they're actually making interesting. I don't want to respect this. Stop making me respect it. I don't want that.
Fantasy Adventure style cards and comes in all of the same offerings, and their fourth set, Back to Preschool, which
Can they just leave it at the teacher's age and nothing else?
I kid you not just released a few months ago. This game is still receiving active support to this day. It is one of the most successful card games I've covered on here. But hey, I'm sure ready to hit the playground. I don't want to...
This video is breaking me. Also, Croc, stream idea. Commander 4 players on Discord showing table on camera. We're like halfway to the next goal. Honestly, I won't do that because I know the people I play Commander against. Their decks are cancer. They're all like one-hit wonders, but when they hit, it's over turn 1. Oh my god.
See you anywhere near one of those. So where's a good place to start? Well, one of the starter decks would be a good option for you here, but you can't actually access any of those right now.
Why?
Because they're all sold out. My brain melt is flaring. We're out here melting. But why stop at just collecting the regular cards? After all,
it's not even the first bit. It's like the specific one small. There's a collaboration.
The 2 sets on offer from their Little Comforts collaboration. What's Little Comforts? Why, it's only one of the premier retailers, and oh my gosh, I am going to...
It's adult fetish diapers. They have found their niche, and their niche is willing to throw money at it. Okay. Yeah. Also, for everyone talking about Commander in the chat, I'm just going to bring up, if you've heard of Blazing Seas, I played that deck once. It was as dumb as you think it is.
Throw up. But that's not all. If you were unable to make it out to Baby Fur Con, then you can still grab some of the exclusive convention merch. What is this? What am I looking at? Dear God! Do you want to know something else? The chair...
God is dead and we have killed him. And this is an entire expression of why this is the case. Okay, sure.
On top of the diaper-wearing pie we've got on our hands here. Come here, I got a secret for you. The game is actually really good. This has so many good mechanics in it. Oh my gosh. The opening draw has you draw 10, pick 6, and return 4 to the deck.
Oh, so Mulligan is actually built into it.
Practically eliminating the chance of you bricking on your opening hand.
Which happens.
Cookies are not only your main currency, but also your win condition. So you need to constantly decide between whether it is worth spending them to improve your position on the field or saving them in order to get closer.
So it's a push your luck mechanic, but also the win condition, so you don't immediately just hoard them because you also want to use them, so you have to go into debt to get out of debt.
To the win.
Also, are those raisins or chocolate chips? I cannot tell.
I've already mentioned the risk-reward of having more characters on the field, but those characters also vary between their forms, with the adults usually having better stats while the toddlers grant better resource bonuses. And you need to be smart with your plays, as you can only play a max of 4 cards during your turn, which could be a little restrictive, but it also means that you aren't going to sit there for 30 minutes while your opponent runs their entire engine 4 times over. Gosh dang it!
Yeah, I've played that deck where the guy just has an infinite turn. He can't win. He just keeps taking his turn until you quit.
Why is the gameplay good? What do you want me to do? Just sit here and lie? They've thought this through. They've put legitimate thought and effort into the rule set, and it shows. Heck, outside of the theming, the design of the cards is also really good, and the art is more often than not very solid. Look at this helmet, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why is the age regression baby fur trading card game better than anything that Hasbro has put out in the last 10 years?
Because Hasbro doesn't pay for ideas, they pay to reskin the thing you're already going to give them money for. Because if they don't have to develop it, they don't have to develop it. And that's all the development costs not invested for something where they're going to get your money anyways. It's like if you do nothing and still get paid, why do something?
We have adults wearing diapers pretending to be furry anthropomorphic toddlers out here designing games better than a major multinational corporation! At the same time the furries were starting to put together their magnum opus TCG, Hasbro had just released their new flagship title, Ms. Monopoly. How many more L's can this company take?
For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm just going to make this funny, Monopoly was designed by someone who wanted to show you that monopolies don't work. They're inherently random and you have no control over it. And as soon as someone gets ahead, they win and you can do nothing to stop it. It's a game you're supposed to hate. So if you're not obsessively angry at everyone playing it, you're doing it wrong. Which is also why I personally have the home rule of if no one catches you stealing from the bank, it's legal because no one caught you.
But we aren't done with this one yet, no siree, because believe it or not, we haven't even reached the whack crap.
What?
How? What could possibly
What?
be left? Oh, you silly goose, have you already forgotten? We've still got an entire line of merch to go through. Of course. Freaking radical, man. Starting us off, you've got your standard in-game accessories, such as different kinds of playmats and card sleeves. But in addition to those, there is also the custom-made cookie counter, which can help.
Shit, that actually looks good. That's unironically actually very nice. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Why does it have to actually be good? Like, unironically, if someone reskinned this with just adult characters, it would be like, okay. Neat.
You keep track of your cookie tally and comes in a myriad of different variations. Oh look, another extremely creative and well-designed component. Add another W to the foes. Alongside those, there are also more general merchandising items, most of which revolve around the game's mascot, Patches. You've got your Patches pin, your Patches plush, your Patches card holder, which comes with a 1 in 20 chance of coming in a cool alternative color scheme.
Wait, they have an actual card holder to display the character you're using, probably. And he's like, you mentioned you're disgusted but impressed. I kind of get how you feel right now. That's basically where I'm at right now, where it's like, it's horrible, but also they put so much thought in here. I kind of respect it. And I'm also glad they don't sexualize it because that somehow makes it just bad as opposed to... It's probably one of those weird times where I could see a kid getting this from their parent who doesn't realize it's an adult game and never finding out because it's just a good game that doesn't fuck around. I hate that this is surprisingly a good accidental purchase.
Gambling, a custom metal lunchbox that comes with a set 4 booster box inside, an entire uncut production sheet to hang on your wall, I guess?
If I tried to do that with magic cards, it would literally be a kidney.
And the stars of our merch event, the clothing. We've got 2 fine selections.
They know their
on offer for you
audience.
today, ladies and gentlemen. First up, the Little Troubles onesie. These fine garments are perfect for nap time and come in 4 distinct designs.
For your adult
I wouldn't
flavorings.
get too attached to the magical onesie though, as everything except for the extra small model is sold out. By the way, if you are wondering if these are for children, 1, you haven't been paying attention, and 2, the extra small model comes out to 27 inches in length, so... Nope. But of course, you can't be comfortable in your onesie without your Patches branded diaper and diaper accessories. That wasn't a baby.
Oh god, I thought it was a baby. Why'd you have to point that out? I'm wondering if the reason they've stayed independent is because Hasbro looks at this and going, there's no money on this. And then there was money and they're still not taking it because their processors would not let them. Why does it have to be good?
You know what? Challenge time! Challenge time!
Oh no.
I'm gonna read the full product description for this
Oh, no.
one, and you tell me if you can make it all the way through without ending up feeling noticeably ill. The feeling will kick in right around the top portion of your stomach here. I've become very familiar with it. Ready, spaghetti?
No!
Your pal Patches diapers. Uh-oh. Didn't quite make it again, huh? Looks like someone's been having a few too many close calls, and maybe a few not too close ones too. That's where your pal Patches comes in. These aren't just diapers, they're your just in case turned full-time, you probably needed these a while ago. Your Pal Patches practice pants are here. With a 6,500 milliliter capacity, because accidents don't keep business hours, a breathable cloth-backed shell, and a hand...
I can't tell which is worse, that this is made for fetish purposes, or unironically, if they price them aggressively, that there is an entire line of adult diapers made for people with actual issues, usually medical, where this might legitimately be a good alternative. At least price them over so it doesn't make me feel like they're actually useful in that sense. Oh, I don't... stop making this seem like a good idea. Thank you for the distraction, Zero. I found a nice L-Corp short. Aleph, just copy it. If it's a little too for $50, just watch a Lacy Purple video. You know what? Sure. I mean, how bad could L-Corp be? I mean, it can't possibly be the one I'm thinking of. I'm not going to immediately just jump away and double check, because I do not want that to be the case, and I'm not just making up an excuse to look anywhere else. But if I was, I would be immediately looking at this. There's an entire playlist. I don't speak Japanese, so oh, it's the short? I think it's this one. I'm going to pull it up quickly. If it is, let me know. We will check it out right after this current bout of insanity, because it's so short.
Andy fade when wet cookie print, so you, and everyone else, knows when you should probably get a change. Your Pal Patches are currently for sale for $36 a bag. Right?
You know what? I'm going to torture myself and everyone else. One, Croc, one. Stream died on your end. That wasn't a baby line. Plays on a loop. Even when I refresh the stream, it gets creepier every loop. If it helps, Croc, you're basically getting the exact same effect as if you hadn't had a crash right now, because that's exactly how the rest of this video feels. This is just wrong in so many ways that I was not expecting and I'm not okay with. I'm now going to destroy my... just for comparison, this is what they normally cost. So, according to Amazon, these are aggressively priced, because I've seen that go anywhere from 20 to 80. Why did I have to learn this? And Iron Force, have I heard of the newest Limbus Canto? I've tried to avoid spoilers, so I know it's out, but I made a point to learn nothing of it. I'm very far behind. I need to update the game.
Now that includes a $3.25 tariff surcharge. Donald, I trusted you, and you tariffed the diapers. Ow! I'm done. I can't take this anymore, man.
Stop putting up images of the diaper.
Made me feel physically ill. I haven't had a physical reaction to a game like this before since I got hit in the head with the Monopoly box. And with no game in my back pocket that comes close to matching the utter chaos on display, where do we go from here? What worlds are there left to conquer?
Oh no.
I thought North Africa was the one, but then I met Adultery. I thought Adultery was the one, but then I met Fatal. I thought Fatal was the one, but then I met the Rap Rat. I thought the Rap Rat was the one, but then I met Breaky. I thought Breaky was the one, but then I met Hybrid, and I really, truly didn't think there was anything out there that could make my head hurt.
This is worse than
Hybrid, and we didn't even make it 2 months. What game is going to top having my body...
Oh no. This is not a new video. Like, this video is a month old, right? This video is a month old, which means if the last one only went 2 months, there's a chance that he's already found something worse.
Make a physical, instinctual, negative reaction. You know what? If there's one thing that we can glean from that conga line on display, it's that you never really know what could sneak up on you next. So with how close we came this time around, go ahead and recommend any games you know of that will finally shatter this psyche for good. And if we can't come up with something, well, we've still got one more game on the list. Signing off for financing my very own Patches plush, I am KamSandwich. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.
Oh, God. I'm going to torture myself quickly. Cam being forced to admit the last game is actually well read. Camel to obliterate. Okay, so the first few ones are not other suggestions that are even worse. So at least on that end, it's not as bad as it could be. We got lucky. Okay. Neat. I now want to forget all about this. Unfortunately, I don't have alcohol. It's only caffeine. The drinking might not help forget, but maybe I'll get very lucky and have a heart attack. Nope, didn't happen. I guess we're still here. So, yeah, that was an experience. If you haven't already, there's a link below to the video. Hit it up. If for some reason you're at this point and you haven't watched the previous video or the reaction to get to this and you still haven't checked out the video, do that. And then block it out of your memory the same way I did, because yeah, that was a thing. Oh God. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.